Hi everybody, and welcome to day 22 of my 30-day Facebook Live Language Facilitation Challenge. Today's topic is day 2. It started yesterday on the Language Facilitation Plan. Today I'm going to tell you 5 key components of the Language Facilitation Plan. Yesterday we talked about the assessment portion, and today's video is going to be all about kind of the meat of the plan and the actual things that it takes to help the families that I have worked with in Waves of Communication make the changes that they saw as soon as within the first week. So today I'm going to talk to you all about that plan. And just in case this is the first video you've seen of mine, my name is Marcy Melzer, and I am an intuitive speech-language pathologist, and I help parents teach their late-talking children how to overcome their resistance and use the words they need to share their wisdom with the world. And I do that with my Waves of Communication parent coaching program. This 30-day live challenge I'm doing is my own personal mission to communicate with as many parents as possible the fact that you as parents are the best language facilitators. In my 30 years of speech pathology work in the field, I've worked in just about every kind of setting there is. And never before in my career have I been able to help parents find so much change so quickly with their children than I have with this program. And I'm really pleased to share this 30 days worth of video with you so that you can understand how you can help your late talker too. And I see that Anne is here. Thank you so much for joining me, Anne. Hi. And if you're joining me for the replay, don't worry, you're going to be able to catch all of the replays here on my Facebook page and also over on my YouTube channel. And I'll have the link in the description box after I finish recording this live. So thank you so much for joining me today. Let's dig in and talk about what it is about this language facilitation plan, the components of it. So the first part is actually the most powerful, and that is where we establish your new language facilitation rules and your intentions and the method, the mindset behind what it takes to become a language facilitator parent. And I see that Amanda and Tracy are here. Thank you so much for joining me today on my live. Oh, my nose just itched. Somebody must be thinking about me. So we're talking today about the plan, and the first part of Waves of Communication language facilitation plan always includes mindset work. And that is, I'm going to fix my light here a little bit. I'm just looking at my thing, and I see Tracy says hello. Hi, Tracy. I'm so glad you're joining me today. I've got a lot of new parents who are here checking me out, and Jenna's here too. Thanks so much for joining me live. I really wanted to include this particular video as part of my 30-day Facebook Live challenge because it's the plan that is the foundation for helping parents take their children from using the nonverbal things they're doing into using verbal language. And this is a really big change. I mean, your whole family is used to using the communication patterns that you have going on right now. And yesterday in my live, I talked about the assessment portion where I look at the different aspects of your communication foundations in your home so that I can establish your plan. And, changing from those current conditions, which are primarily nonverbal, non-functional communication, verbal communication, and moving those things into using natural language in sentences and phrases to have your kids move into chatterbox mode and you wish they would be quiet. That's quite a transformation. And you as the parent in my program are the leader of that change. You're the facilitator of that change in helping your child move from, nonverbal communication into using words. And so the foundation of this program, which is your program, this foundation, this language facilitation program, this is a family plan. This is for you so that you can guide your child. And these are the components that you need. The first component for sure is this mindset work. you need to understand that the changes that you're going to have to make might be outside your wheelhouse a little bit. You know, you're very comfortable, and so and so is your child in the communication patterns that you're using right now. That is until you get frustrated because they're not working, because you won't be working and you're not looking at this video unless your child's communication isn't working all the time and you have frustration around that, because that's why you want to change it. We're solving problems here, and this is a fundamental one, and it requires some big change. So these rules, the new sort of way you're going to go about living life, you can also call them intentions. Some people in the spiritual world and energy healing world talk about setting the intention of what we're going to do here in our plan and making sure that we understand. And that's a very fundamental thing for me to make sure that is included for all of my language facilitator parents. It's important that you understand that these rules, and they also have to they have to match your fundamental feelings and your fundamental understanding, your values, the things that you find important. I can't make these rules so drastically different for you that you're not going to be able to embrace them and enjoy this journey with your child, because if you haven't heard me before, you'll hear me say it in every video. If it isn't fun, it isn't fun, and that's the foundation of this. So you have to adjust your mindset in ways that you can embrace this fun language facilitation lifestyle and adopt the mindset so that you can become a language facilitator. And as you become a language facilitator, you're also going to help your child develop the mindset of a verbal communicator, because right now your child has the mindset of a nonverbal communicator. They're getting what they want and they're communicating their ideas the best they can using things that aren't language. And you're facilitating this change for them. So the foundation of this program is really understanding, number one, that you're capable of making that change, and so is your child. And number two, a set of rules and intentions that go about helping you maintain that mindset. And they help you decide, these rules, when to push and when to give up, or when to offer more assistance and when to expect your child to try harder. These rules help you keep moving forward as far as progression, as far as continued success and continued progress. And those are the foundational things that you need to understand to have a mindset of a language facilitator parent. So in your plan, the number one thing you need to do is to be able to adopt the mindset of a language facilitator parent and take on the role so that you can help your child learn to use words quickly within the first week getting started. It's been so exciting. Okay. The second component of your language facilitation plan, of my language facilitation plan, when you work with me, is an education component. And that's part of what I'm doing here with this 20-day live, is to show people how there are many, many topics that have to do with language facilitation. Because when we understand how to do this job naturally, we have to take into consideration all the aspects of our life, the people, places, and things in our life, the different conditions that your child may or may not have been presented with, emotional things that are going on, the energy in your world. All of those things have to come into play. And I have educational videos. I'm really excited right now. Like I said, I'm putting together these 30-day lives so that everybody can have access to some education about language facilitation and start to think about it from the perspective of a language facilitator. With anything is possible. I can do language facilitation in every moment of every communication that I have with my child. And in my Waves of Communication program, I've been working very hard to put together a very comprehensive video library that involves videos of the strategies that I use and lectures and information around all of the stuff that goes into way more in depth than these 30 days even, and it educates parents with everything you need to know so that you can have all the tools you need to become a language facilitator for your child. No matter what's causing their blockage to using communication, as long as they are physiologically capable of saying words, then this information is going to be able to help you be able to learn how to do that. So that's the second component of the plan, is that education component. And then the third component of the plan, kind of the real meat of it, is the strategies. The language facilitation strategies that I create very specifically for every family. And what I'm going to tell you about today is the actual target communication opportunities and needs that I need to provide every family with strategies for, so that you have the tools to be able to facilitate language in every kind of circumstance. And so what I'm going to show you is there's actually 6 different areas that are target communication needs that I facilitate strategies for. And the first one is going to be some environmental modifications. You might need to change up your environment. A couple days ago, I talked about a video where I talked about toy minimalism. That's a very powerful environmental modification. Maybe you need to limit screen time. Maybe you need to offer more kinds of different sorts of opportunities for language facilitation. And those are the strategies that involve environmental modifications. So that's the first area that we look at. The second area, which is probably the most impactful for families, is the strategies that surround overcoming your child's communication blockages. And I use the information from the assessment portion of the plan, where I look at your family's energy, I look at your value systems, and I look at the things that are the most frustrating for your family. And those are the things that we need to target, because it's important that we have words for every circumstance, including the things that we're frustrated about, because most commonly those behaviors that have replaced those frustration words, those are the ones that are the most problematic. The ones that come from frustration might include aggression and hurting yourself or throwing things, behaviors you don't necessarily want to see, very common for your child. Sorry, nose itching again. Those are the kinds of things that we need to really facilitate language for. So in the times that your child is frustrated or upset or has to do the things that they don't like to do, those are very important language facilitation strategies that are part of every plan. Okay, so the next thing that is probably the most frequent thing that you need to have strategies for as part of your plan is requesting. So anytime your child wants something, the number one rule of my language facilitation plan is that every request your child does is a movement towards verbalization. That even if for a very short time we use some nonverbal strategies, they last for a very short period of time, because every single request, starting the very first session, the very first moment your child starts to request things of you, you will have strategies in how to structure that into words. So requesting is the most common thing that your child does, so it's obviously very important that you have the exact strategies you need to help your child go from nonverbal requesting into using verbs, or words, including verbs. So the next area of strategies that you need to have in your plan is the commenting section. So these are strategies that you're going to use to help your child build vocabulary and natural communication phrases and understanding in the everyday circumstances of your life. So not only do you use words to ask for things, you use words to talk about things. I like that. I don't like it. I see it's the color of it, the size of it, the shape of it. Oh, look, it's a beautiful thing. All the things that you talk about in your world that you want to share experiences and comment about. I teach you the exact language facilitation strategies to use to get those kinds of natural verbalizations from your child to help you facilitate that. And then the next area that you get specific strategies for is social communication. So you get very specific strategies that will help you teach your child how to communicate with other people. Facilitate that. You're going to help them facilitate communicating with different people in your family first, and then other people, friends, teachers, other people in their dance class, things like that, or the teacher at their dance class. All of those people in your life, grandparents, people they see often, people they don't see often, people they see only on Skype. You're going to learn strategies on how to teach your child how to, facilitate words. You're going to facilitate language during all of those social communication interaction. I'm just going to teach you the exact strategies in how to take your child from nonverbal to verbal then. And then the next one is, the last one, is I give you strategies on how to replace the frustrating behaviors or the problematic behaviors that your child is using that you need to extinguish. So let's say your child is running in the street and you haven't been able to stop them from doing that. Or let's say your child is being aggressive or throwing tantrums. The most common one that's a big communication behavior is when kids are very loud and aggressive and screaming and yelling in stores. They throw themselves on the floor, when they don't get what they want or they don't understand the situation or you don't understand what's going on. I help parents extinguish those behaviors, and because we replace them with verbalization. And so those are the biggest strategies. Sometimes the most impactful ones are how to extinguish the behaviors, the sensory behaviors and the language behaviors and the learning behaviors that your child has that are problematic, because I've done other videos on the kinds of behaviors that your child might have that you want to extinguish. And so that's the other thing. Like I said, it's important that you watch. If you want to know as much as you can, you want to get as much information as possible. So watching all the videos in these 30-day live that I'm doing, different parents have been able to get information just from the tips and topics that I've talked about in these videos to help their kids already start to say words. And that's what's been really exciting. On my Facebook page, there's a couple different posts from parents who aren't in my Waves of Communication program, but they've been able to use these tips to be able to help their kids and, start to use words. So, that's been the super, super exciting thing about, this Waves of Communication program and the information that I have, that, you as parents really do have what it takes to help your kids start to use verbal language for all the things that you want them to communicate. Okay, and so the third component was all the systematic strategies that I give to every parent for those different communication topics, those communication target needs you have to teach your child. And then the next component of your overall language facilitation plan, very important component, is your reinforcement system. So we work through the way that you're going to keep your child motivated towards using words and enjoying words, and of course keeping it fun, because if it isn't fun, it isn't fun. And I help parents strategically develop their reinforcement systems so that it is not it's not so much of a tempting bribery kind of situation where you're using your rewards to bait your kids into using talking, or encourage them by, default, like you can't do it unless you say this. Show them how to change from that kind of baiting and, reinforcement from that kind of those strategies into more natural reinforcement that is based on the intrinsic intrinsic joy of being able to have language as a tool to use. So it doesn't include M&Ms and you know, all that kind of stuff, like some other kinds of communication teaching methods like ABA and PECS, you know, where there's a reward because a child performs. In my program, I help parents understand that your reward system is actually developed so that the reward in itself is communication success and all of the things that come with that. Because once you learn how to use words, then you can share your wisdom with the world, and you can request the things you want, you can comment about the things that you want, and those things in themselves are intrinsically joyful and happy. And so, you know, that's why it works so great. Hey, Brianna's here. I see that Brianna and Maria's here. Thank you so much for joining me, ladies, on this super important topic about the language facilitation plan. And the last part of my plan, and this is sort of, you know, the thing that wraps it all up and keeps it all together and keeps it moving and going and evolving. For the Waves of Communication parents, my plan includes the support for you to take you the entire process. So not only do you start with, in, you know, your initial strategy session, the beginnings of developing the plan for you, but with my Waves of Communication support group program, you get to know all the steps to go the entire way. Every time you get stuck, every time you get frustrated, every time you overcome new problems or new blockages or new issues that come up for your child in their school environment or daycare environment or anyone in your family, you have the opportunity to have the support of my group and me the whole entire journey, so that even though it seems kind of like nothing you've worked so far has been able to get your child over the hump and out of these nonverbal communication patterns they have, my program takes you from that point all the way through to, I wish my child would, you know, be quiet. I wish I could shut him up. And I tell a lot of the parents over the years, I've said, your family looks a lot like those families. And there are many, many, many families. In fact, every single one of the parents who has been in my language facilitation Waves of Communication program and have taken on these strategies and done the work and adopted the mindset of a language facilitator parent, these parents, every single one of them, I'm so proud of you, have been able to get your kids to start using words functionally for requesting, for telling the bummers of their life, for commenting on things, and just enjoying it because they're having fun while they do it. And every single one has been able to get them doing that within the first week. And within 3 to 6 weeks, their kids are using language functionally, and they are facilitating language without even thinking about it during every single activity they do, day in, day out, 24 hours a day. I'm so proud of them as language facilitator parents. So if you are interested in becoming a language facilitator parent and working with me with my Waves of Communication program, the best way to reach me is either send out a private message to me right here on Facebook or go to my website, wavesofcommunication.com, and there's a free class there in addition to these 30-day videos, which you also can watch to get information about that. And if you want to reach out and get that, go onto my website, check out the free class, and you can schedule a free language facilitation strategy session with me to find out even if this program is appropriate for you. If you have what it takes to become a language facilitator parent, and if your child is a late talker and you feel like you want to do that, you can find that out with me one-on-one on a free phone call. And you can find out how to do that right after my class on my website, or reach out to me here with a private message. So I'm happy to talk to you about all 30 days of my language facilitation challenge. Today is no different, and I hope that you consider joining me and all of the language facilitator moms that I have in my Waves of Communication program. Check out the website, and I will be here tomorrow with yet another topic in my 30-day language facilitation challenge. And I'll see you tomorrow, everybody. Happy language facilitating. Get your plan now.